Action! Yes, welcome to our first episode of our podcast. We call it the Diary of a CEO Couple. And this is Ann-Sophie, actually my business partner, my wife, mother of my children, and an award-winning designer.
And this is Patrick, basically a marketing guru. He can talk a lot and he does it very well. So
let's see how it goes. So this is our first episode. And the topic is basically, why do we start a podcast? So I tried to get you into this podcast thing since like a couple of months.
Yeah.
Because I always preach social media, and being out there on social media is like super important today. And everyone who's not doing this has like the problem of not be seen, right?
Yeah.
The question is, why do we do a podcast together? We work together, we live together 24 hours, and now we do a podcast. So I think we can just talk what we do all day long, right?
Yeah,
I mean, it's
there's
like,
lots to talk about.
There's lots to talk about. But on the other hand, it's a little bit difficult situation, I would say, because you're a person very private. So your privacy, you hold it very private. You work not like as an extrovert in our company. So like in our companies, you are actually behind the desk doing your work there. And then on the other hand, we have like me working in front, being like, hey, we have to do social media. We need to post here. We need to do
Absolutely.
there.
Yeah.
And how do you feel about doing a podcast now? I mean,
it's fine. No, it's good. I think it's great because we do have lots to talk about. I think there can, like, through these conversations, we can really grow also, like, for personal development, and also just, talking about things, you can reach new heights. But yeah, of course, also, I mean, I'm behind the scenes mainly. So this is good. This is a change of scenery.
Okay, so now it's a one-time chance to tell me, how is it to work with a crazy guy like me and also live with him, like you're 24 hours with me?
This is a question that we get a lot of times. Like, how do you manage being like a couple, married, living together, all these things, and then working together? I think for us, it's actually exactly the other way around. Like, how weird it is not to do that. So for us, it's very natural. It always has been. And I mean, if you think about it, it's so nice to be able to share everything with your partner. So there's really nothing that you don't share. I mean, of course, everyone has like their interests and can pursue them. But that's like snippets of the day that we do different things. Other than that, we share everything. And I feel like a marriage is supposed to like share a lot of things, right? Like, that's why you decide to spend the rest of your lives together, because you want to share as many moments in life as possible. So this is like, maybe it's hardcore, but for me, it's essentially like what I want to do with a partner on my side. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you see the picture out, what is a marriage, or what is like to be partners in business, it's completely different, right? I mean, like, the world sees it different. That's why we get this question all the time.
Yeah.
So it's supposed to, like the old picture, the woman is at home, raise the kids, dad is going out, comes at 6 p.m. home after a 9-to-5 job, and dinner is made, right? And this is that. Then they have 2-3 hours of time together, and then next day starts again, right?
Yeah.
Repeat.
Yeah.
So, and then you have like the other way around, what is quite a little bit newer, but you have two parents working. One still has like a lot of responsibility, bringing the kids to football, soccer, whatever, right? And then on the other part, both have a job, and one is struggling more, one is struggling less, because the office job or versus whatever, you have still responsibilities. Like the other version, people try actually to get all of that into one direction. So they both have a full-time job, and they have a support system around them, like nannies or parents or aunties, whatever, helping out, right?
Yeah.
And I think our model is like completely different, right? I mean, we have 2 kids. We do everything basically together. Of course, someone is bringing them here or there, but like we share the whole thing over the day.
Yeah.
And then also we share everything in business. Like everything in business is like equally 50-50. Decisions making, everything is like the whole system, what we live is do it half-half. And we do all together.
Yeah.
You know, I feel this is quite different. And what excites me about that and why I personally can't understand other people when it comes to how do you manage this, is that we live in a world where people really think they have like a life and a work, and this is work-life balance. So they have a full day, 24 hours, you sleep 8 of them, so 16 hours left, and then you work 9 of them, right? So you have 7 hours left, and this 7 hours you need to drive, to make groceries, whatever, care about your family, and then see a few hours your kids until you go back to bed. So most of the day you are working and you are sleeping, and of course then these people need like this window of, I don't know, let's say 7 hours what they have left to schedule this around. And on the other part, what I'm always saying is like, how can you not do what you love for all day? I mean, sounds crazy for me, right? I mean, I would like hate it to not be with you all day, because I mean, I choose to be. I mean,
it happens. It happens all the time. Like we are apart for 2 hours, and then it's like we didn't spend the day together. Like it's very weird.
Yeah, it's completely
feels off.
Yeah, it feels off. And this is like, I mean, people shouldn't have to choose what is my life and what is my work.
Yeah, but if you're employed, this is like the perspective that you have because you're self-employed. This whole mentality, the mindset that comes with it, or actually that you need to have to be able to be successful in your what you create, right? In your self-employment. This is why you think like that, but like look into like a perspective of someone that is just employed. That person works for other people the entire day and it's not their own business. Of course, they have like benefits, they have the safety, security, all these things. But ultimately, it will always come with a different mindset. I think it's very natural to do that when you are employed, to have like work in your life and have like a private life.
Yeah, I understand. But on the other hand, it's like, I mean, this is something where you talk about like an employee, even for us as a company, we face these situations, right? So we choose to make a system work, which does it a little bit different for the employees.
Yeah, that doesn't have them like make this perspective for their lives.
Of course, because this is very important. That's why we choose to do this. On the other hand, it's like you have, as an employee, you are a human as well. So let's say you are video editor in our company, Vance. Yeah, so he's doing videos at the moment. So Vance is here working now, and it's Saturday, so it's day off basically. So the point is the situation that a video editor, when he like Vance comes in and says, "Okay, Vance, I don't like my job. I don't like video editing, so I just do it to make money." In this moment, he has already a problem. It's already lost. The situation is gone because he is not loving what he's doing. Mm-hmm. So you can't rescue that with any work-life balance. So he will always say this situation as, oh shit, I have to do now 8-9 hours of work, or I have to go on a Saturday and do some stuff. So
it's always going to be considered work.
It's always be considered work. So, but if he loves video editing and loves to learn it and loves to like get new input and try new things out, this changed the whole system in the moment. In this moment, it's changing because now it's not considered work. It's like a hobby, what I do, like a thing I love to do on my daily basis, and I do it now and I get money out of it. So now the only thing what holds you back to be 100% passionate about your job is your salary. Because if you don't have a great salary, you always feel like underpaid, not like in a position where you can choose more or do more or have a holiday and all these things, right? And especially in countries like the Philippines, where the expectation of a salary is quite low already because the average salary is low. So if you earn here an amount of money, X, Y, Z, to like have an actually holiday is almost impossible, like flying to Europe or to the US. Mm-hmm. With your normal salary, it's impossible. So people can earn 10 years of salary and then they can maybe have a week off where they really can travel. So, and to have this system, of course, for this kind of mindset, it's quite hard to like figure out goals. And this is where we came and say, okay, look, when someone is working really hard and is really talented, he should manage to have like enough money to go to a holiday once a year, like everyone else in the world is doing, right?
Yeah.
And I think when this mindset, I mean, this means a lot of trust from our employees as well, that we develop them there, that they earn the money at some point there, right? And that they not get fooled in one way. On the other hand, you never know if that person is 100% passionate about it, right? This comes to a very...
But you can tell. For me, I always feel you can really tell if a person is passionate about something or not. So
it's a personal feeling from you.
From me?
Yeah.
No, it's kind of like, how people, yeah, I mean, like if you observe people, then you kind of can figure them out at some point.
Yeah, you could.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe, but you never know. You think you know, or you feel you're right. There's a difference, right?
There's always a difference between what you think and what reality is, but that's philosophical.
So it's not a philosophical podcast.
Nope.
So we don't talk about that. Yeah.
No.
So we just say it's right. You know when you know.
You know when you know. No, okay. Let's say like I think I would say I know when people are passionate about something, and if they're not. So
you see it on their work
and their work ethics.
Yeah, for sure. When we come to this point, like where we came back, our topic was like, as a self-employed person, I have a different perspective. On the other hand, I tried now to explain that an employee can have the same.
Yes, if that person is not too much concerned with other circumstances. Because being employed, yes, of course, you can be passionate. And many people are, which is really, I mean, great. That this is why like companies perform well because of their employees, right? But on the other hand, there's so much more to the work they perform every day, to like all the circumstances around, like the structure that someone else can decide, how many hours a day they have to work, when they can, as you mentioned, when they can go to holiday, when they can't, if they have to come in on the Saturday, if they have to do over hours. All these things can, in my opinion, completely crush passion, because that's like your life, and ultimately you want to decide how you spend your Saturday, right? And if that happens too many times and you're being like taken advantage of, then like your passion really doesn't matter anymore. You don't feel good about like your job and stuff, you know?
Yeah, I understand. Like, I mean, we had this discussion a million times, right? And talking about like even in our other companies where we think about what are we doing with stuff and so on. It's like a point. I think it's changing in the startup industry a lot, that a lot of people in startups have like shares on the company, right? So the CTO is not founder of the company. He comes in, he gets 5% shares. So why does people do this? Because obviously they want them to like own a little bit of the company to give more power up, right?
Yeah.
So on the other hand, like what we do is we pay a bonus for our employees when they have work done for the company. With company generates money out of their job, and then they generate money out of the work they did, right? So they are kind of part of every project.
Yeah.
So, and if you have, like, it makes it very complicated for us, because we have always to figure out how many percentage has someone done at what project, and what is like, how to develop this process, right? But with this point, I think when more companies would do this in this way, especially in countries where the ground salary is already very low, this would develop the whole industry by a lot.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. It would also help change the mindset we talked about earlier, like being self-employed and then employed, because they are highly motivated, right? They come to work every day. They're like super on top of their business. They're reliable, determined, committed, because they want to, earn more money. And that ultimately, I think, creates like a working environment, or like maybe even working generation of like young talents that really like move forward.
This is a big topic for the Asian industry. Payments in general, also shares, also how do you how can you contribute this? How can a company be successful and the employees have a successful life? Right? I feel that's a really big topic. And that's something I always think about, because obviously what we do is we sit in Asia not for the reason of low salary, but benefit.
Yeah.
Automatically, because we live here.
Yeah.
So we live here for different reasons. We live here because we love Asia. We had work here. We had studies here. We have family here. So it's like we live here for a reason. And this comes with a lot of positive things. So we can obviously have lower prices for our European, especially our German market, just because we live here and have employees which need less salary already. And even if we overpay them, it's much less than in Europe, because everything costs already also less here, right? It's not just with the salary, they couldn't survive in Germany.
Yeah.
So like the average salary, I think in the Philippines is around 18,000 peso or something around that, pretty low. With that salary, you wouldn't be able to live in Germany, like not possible. And you would get support from the government.
Yeah.
Stock up triple or four times the money just to have like the ground,
the basics,
yeah. Right? So, but everything also costs more. So this is the social system we have there. So since we're living here, we can even pay our employees more and give them the percentage out of that, because we have like the opportunity to sell it much higher in Germany and still have the great quality. But to find talented people which have the mindset of that, to know, okay, I own something in this company. So when I work here, I get freaking money out of it. This is so new. I feel that also when we talk like with other people here or with our employees or with friends, they don't get the concept in the first place, because why would you do this? Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, we hear this a lot from people like from
it's just not very common
here. Not common at all.
Yeah.
So this is like a crazy thing, because we have this family thing. We live as a family. So we always try to like everyone who's involved in our daily, because business is like big part of our life.
Yeah.
Of our daily life. And this is why we treat basically the business like a part of the family, and everyone who's there is like part of it, right?
Yeah.
So, and to get this like connection with other people, that they have the same connection with your business, is quite interesting. It gives a lot of opportunities, right? So, yeah. What do you say? You're like, the topic is over now. The topic is over now. We should change. Yeah, okay. Maybe we should.
Hard cut.
Hard cut. So what's the next? What's the next?
That's great transitioning. Hey. Okay. Next topic. Okay. So yeah, I agree that it's there's a lot of opportunity. For us, because of that system, we treat everyone in our team like family, you said. But that is also because we really try to think about the team, not only who can provide what skill set and who can work on what, or who can like make this amount of revenue for us. It's really about that we care about the human being, right? We care about the personality of these people and how they come into our team and how it makes sense. So when hiring people, it's not only about like their skill set and what they can do on a business level, but also how well they contribute to us as a team, like being dynamic and really showing the values as a person, as an individual that we want to put out there, right? Like being young and fresh and dynamic and fun, but hardworking and hustling all the time. So I think that is a big difference as well. It's a benefit that we have rather like a small team at this point. I believe if you have like a huge company, it's really hard to like sit down with everyone and like get down to the base of things. But that's what I love about like having a small team and being very personal with everyone. Would you agree with that? Like making sure that like the vibes in the team is, for me, as important as like how well they perform skill-wise.
I totally agree. I mean, there is this diagram where you have like this diagram where you have like skill and passion or something, and they rank people. Someone is really, really good, but has a bad personality, like as an asshole, right? Basically,
yeah.
People are always aiming for the corner,
the right top corner.
Yeah, the best performing person with the best personality, right?
Yeah.
But most of the companies are looking just for the performance, what you say.
Yeah.
So they don't have this kind of diagram. They have more like, this is the performance level, and it doesn't matter what this person is. And the really good companies, they are actually doing it differently. They don't need the highest achievement. Even when the personality is super great, they are also going with like lower performance, because this makes the whole team working better.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there are studies about that.
It makes sense. It makes sense. And I would think that the why of why people are being chosen solely on their talent itself or their skill set is because it's much easier to determine, right? I mean, like sitting down with a person, really getting to know that person and feeling like, is this person a good fit for the team personality wise or as a person, is much harder to determine based, compared to, you've been to the school, you have done this work, your portfolio looks like this. It's very technical.
Yeah.
And then the other side is more like, it's more effort in a way that you really need to think about it. You know what I mean? Like,
no.
So, I mean, the interpersonal connection, I would say, is always a little bit more, like it has many more layers than just, okay, you got the job because you have the skill set. It's kind of like, do you have the skill set, yes or no? And then with like the personality, are you a good fit for the team? It's like so many layers, more sophisticated to choose based on personality compared to the skill set. You still don't get it?
Not really.
Okay. Do you guys know what I mean? A bit. Okay, so a personality has like, you can have many personalities, right? Like the 16...
You're a freak!
No, like the 16 personalities test. Everyone knows the 16 personalities test, right? Everyone is a different personalities. Now, if you look at like you have one personality, obviously, but then there's so many layers, like strength and weaknesses and what you can do, what you shouldn't do, what you're great at, and all these things. It's much more like sophisticated to look at like a personality because there are so many layers compared to like, okay, your portfolio looks good or it looks not so good.
Yeah, but I mean, you need the skill set, right?
Yeah, but I'm saying the reason why in my opinion, the reason why a lot of companies choose solely based on skill set is also just because it's easier. It's like you can perform, you can do the job, you got it. Like whatever you do in your private life and who you are as a person, I don't care. It's easier to say that. Just disregard the person itself and just say, okay, you got the job because of your skill set.
Yeah, but it makes also the whole process more complicated because you need to find...
In the long term, yes.
Yeah, you need to find a person which is like good in the job and is fitting to the company DNA and has a nice personality, in your opinion.
Yeah.
So,
and in your teams, I guess.
Yeah.
Right? It's not only your
Yeah, exactly. So this makes it super complicated for every HR in the world, right?
Yeah.
That's why they don't do it, I feel. I think. I don't know. I mean, if you're a small team like us, it's very easy.
And it's more important even.
For sure.
I mean, up there.
Yeah.
Because if you have like 6 people and then one of them is just not matching to the vibe that you want to create in your company, it makes a huge difference compared to you have 100 people in your company and one of them is not fitting. Like, okay, I'll take it.
Yeah. I mean, we have this, like for you, it's like, I always feel that for you, it's even more complicated. Because
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, wait.
What a statement.
Wait. No, because like you started like we started our first company and you were 20?
Yeah.
You were 20. So you're 25 now, 26. Sorry, you're 26 now.
Cut!
No cut. No. So you are 26 now, and a lot of employees we had or have are much older than you.
Yeah.
Right? So, or they are your age or just 2 years younger. So it's like you're very close to that, right? And you started with 1920. I don't know when we started. Actually, you were 20. You were 20. Yeah, you were 20. So, and our first employee was 36. John was 36 or 37 when we employed him, something like that. And we were 21, something like that, right? And to be a respect person, but also say, hey, I want a nice environment.
Like a friendly surrounding.
Yeah, you need to stand your person as a boss, your ground as a boss, but on the other hand, being like, you have the same interests, you see the same TV shows like the people around you. Like it's basically the same thing, right?
You act like you were like so much older.
I'm freaking old, man.
Not so much older.
No. But the point is, it's the same for me.
But why would it be different for me though? Why would it be like especially complicated for me? Because I feel the same with you. Because you're a person that is actually very outgoing, a person that wants to chit chat with people and feel that connection. And then at the same time, you need to be the boss and like, stand your ground. So I feel we have the same, I think everyone has this kind of conflict. It's not a conflict. It's something that we need to balance, right? But why would I have it more than...
Because you're even much younger than
the age.
It's the age thing, right? So I would say it's not unusual that a mid-30 guy is like a boss of something, but it's unusual that an early 20 woman is boss of something.
Yeah.
So, and to create this is like, I just feel I always admire you for balancing that. Because I know I worked in this, so I wasn't really able to do this in your age.
Thank you.
Yeah, no. I mean, I leaded a team with 25 as well. And I mean, our work was great, but looking back then, how I dealt with that, of course, I have now much more experience, but I was like not that good in leading a team to this point, as I would say I am today. Because of all the learnings, all the fails, all the stuff. But you have you have also the learnings, the same years of learnings now being an entrepreneur. But on the other hand, you don't have the pre-experience I had.
Yeah.
Because I worked like
but what would you
8 years
say
longer in the industry.
Yeah, absolutely. So what would you say is like maybe your top 2 or something lessons that you learned like being in your leadership role compared to, I mean, from what you just mentioned, like your earlier experiences in other companies?
I think you definitely can learn to be a boss. To be, you can do this.
Absolutely.
But I think there's a certain amount of people which are just made for that, naturally. And this is.
Are you?
I think so.
Like, I agree.
Yeah, I agree. I think so. It's a natural, personality, how you act and speak, and like even like finding this middle way of like being an authority person, but also being a person I can talk to.
Yeah.
And I think that is for a lot of people just not naturally. And they are good in their job. Maybe they are learned with leadership trainings. And you can learn through leadership trainings a lot. It's crazy. If you see all the things, for example, Simon Sinek, big fan, Circle of Influence, big fan, right? The big why questions, like it's so good if you see this. So, and you can go with this kind of learning curve, you can definitely grow. And you can become whatever you want if you learn enough. But it's much easier for people when they have it naturally. And my biggest lessons basically were that I don't have to play a role. I was so young when I started to be a team leader, a boss of like an office in Stuttgart, my first time in Germany. It was how old? 24. And I had 40 employees to lead, basically. And I just thought, and they were like my age, like younger or my age, but same like you, around, I would say, like between somewhere 18. So yeah, but there were a lot, 24, 25, 26. We worked with like students, and I was a student myself, basically, right? Mm-hmm. So 24. And I did a really crazy good job. I was freaking amazing in my job. Yeah, no question asked. I'm so good. But it was sales marketing. I was selling like crazy. And everyone was like looking up for me because of my numbers. Mm-hmm. So they saw what I did in numbers, in sales, and they were like, wow, this guy is so good. I'm so happy to be here, right? And learn. But for them, it was like a side hustle. It was a side hustle next to the university. So most of them were studying like being a teacher or being a doctor or whatever. So they didn't really care to get sales skills. Mm-hmm. So this was like the first problem. So people were like just looking up for me because of the numbers, because they wanted to make more money for their side hustle. Mm-hmm. So this was one thing. And the second thing was that I had always the feeling I need to be like in the movies or in the series, right? Like the boss.
The boss.
Yeah. So, and played a little bit of a role there and tried to be more important than I was. Like going out and saying, yeah, so good morning. So now I have a talk here to everyone and blah, 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 and do this whole layer of being a boss and being super important in the company. What is like basically the biggest learning I had is now when people come to you to actually learn, then you do it right. Like when they come and ask you, hey, can we have a talk? Can we talk about that? Could you help me with that? This is much better because this gives you not the feeling that you need to teach a person. Some people don't know, right? Especially if you start working with someone or start working in a company, they don't know what is actually what are the layers here? What can I ask? What can't? What should I say? And I mean, we say always to our employees, hey, you can ask everything. But like, it takes always a long time until they really understand that.
Actually do that.
Right?
Yeah.
And this is because they are like knowing, hey, I want to make a good impression. I want to like feel good. I want that they think I'm a good person, that I'm a good worker, blah, 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 blah. And this is where I go in and say now, okay, I want to basically to develop them That they think, okay, this guy is not just my boss, he's also a person, he knows things and makes my life easier. My life, and this is like a big time of my life, is work. So this guy can help me to make my daily schedule easier when I just ask.
Yeah.
So, and I think this was the biggest learning I had in all the years, that you are not a boss. You're not a leader if you force them to listen to you, or if you force them into one meeting after another when there's no sense in it. Just to be to have yourself the feeling that you own something or own a team or whatever.
Yeah, so I mean, I suppose this came quite naturally to you so you learned that you don't need to actually act as a leader. You just need to embody it, right, in your own way. So that switch, knowing you and knowing your strength, probably came quite easy to you. But what about other people that are not, that don't have the strength that you have, that you're, very, as I said in the very beginning, very good at talking and empathetic, and you want to feel the connection to other people. So that are skills that you already had and you didn't need to figure them out.
Yes.
It came naturally to you.
Agreed.
So what would you say to a person then, who doesn't have those skills, who is more I guess, introverted or more on the other side? So
hard to say, because I mean, there is the concept of the natural leadership, the natural leader.
This is what you have been saying.
Yeah. This is the concept.
But that doesn't mean that other people can't be leaders.
No, they can't. But should they
learn
this is
everything?
The question.
I do believe so. Yes, I do believe so.
And this is the question. I mean, it's quite...
this is a basic question, though, like a foundational question.
No, I mean,
because if you don't have, for example, if you don't have an eye for graphic design or aesthetics, should you be a graphic designer? Should you try to learn?
But this is then the point where it becomes you should, if you really want to be.
Yeah,
right? This is the mentality.
Totally agree.
Yeah, I know. And this is the mentality.
It's a growth mindset. It's
yes,
you can become anything that you want if you dedicate your energy and your effort.
100% you can, but you will always be not that good as a designer who's a natural designer and has all the talent and is
you
not
think.
I am 100% believe. It's
you think you know.
Yeah, I think
right?
I know. So I think this is you can be everything you want, but you have talents, and the biggest gift you got is this talents. So why not using this talents to not even see it financially, to be happy with your life, to be super happy. And I see a lot of person, I think graphic designers, for example, I think it's quite hard to say it with that, because you need a lot of talent, you need a lot of skill, but you can learn also a lot of things. For sure, you can get done a good job where you can make people happy with a middle skill, what you learned, and maybe it fulfills you. But I see the problem, what I'm seeing is that a lot of people in the world want to be an entrepreneur. They want to own a business. They want to be a boss. They want to be a leader. And why do they want that? Not because of these responsibilities and not because they are thinking they will be more happy with that. No, just because of the freaking dollar sign. Because they think if you are a boss, if you're an entrepreneur, you own the world because you get everything what you want. You have money, you have nice cars, nice women, nice watches. This is what the world tells you, right? So you get...
Do they?
No, you
haven't heard of that.
This is where people think being a boss or owning a company is the only way to earn money and to be financial free and have the freedom to be traveling around the world. So
yeah, it gets
that's wrong. That's so wrong. It's not. There are multiple jobs in the world where you can have the same freedom, but you work for a company. But the company does this whole system differently. They do it in another way. they allow you to work from everywhere in the world, or they pay you a lot of money, or they give you a percentage of the sales you have done for the company. This kind of things makes the same thing, but you don't have the responsibility. And when people think always, like when we started our business for the first years, like in the whole COVID time, we didn't travel once. We didn't have any holiday. We worked freaking hard all day long, 20 hours a day, right? So yeah. But it's like people don't see that, right? They think, yeah, you can go wherever you want. I can't. I have a meeting in 2 days with a customer. I have a meeting in 3 days with my team, whatever. And I can do this via, for a certain amount of time, I can do this via FaceTime or whatever software out. And then, but it's a different thing if you are really connected to the people. If you sit with them on one table, it's completely different. So you want them to be there and you want to be reachable all the time. I can't remember that we had, like, we worked even on, like, we even get emails and calls on Christmas, on New Year. It's not because our customers have time on these days.
Yeah.
So they have time. The first thing they do, they call us.
Yeah.
Right. So this is like, we never are off. And if we really would hate what we do,
it wouldn't work.
It wouldn't work at all.
Yeah. But so you're basically saying like you're born either as someone that is an entrepreneur or not?
I think everyone can become an entrepreneur, but I really think everyone should think about, why would I? So what does this mean for my life? And if they decide on the end of the day, okay, all the points on the negative list are not that important because the positive list is so big, then definitely go for it straight away. But if you are truly thinking that it's just about the money and you should do this because you will earn more, that's no reason to be an entrepreneur. Not at all. And not to be like then a boss either.
Yeah, because you wouldn't be a good leader in that way.
No, I mean, there are multiple people, and I think people should be more open for that. And also, like, CEOs should be more open to give people not just, like, you pay people for their talent, but also for their responsibilities, right? So you have a team, 5 people leading, you get more salary.
Yeah.
So, but on the other hand, because you have more things to do, you have more responsibility. We should figure out things that people which are not natural leaders and don't want to be a leader, we don't have to force them to lead a team. Mm-hmm. So they could be like more in a teaching role, for example, where people listen to this person because they're crazy good in what they do, but they don't want to have the responsibility. That doesn't mean they can't have the same amount of money. They can do other things like teaching or preparation for the team in the background and still have the same amount of money what a team leader gets. So I think this would change probably a lot in the mindset of a lot of people. Having the situation where you just want to be a leader to earn money, I think that's a bad situation you can be in.
I think it's a general thing though, not only with leadership. It generally, when you just do something because you want to have the money, it's not going to work out in the end. I mean, not long term.
No.
Right? Because you're not driven, you don't feel the fire, you're not passionate about what you do.
You see, just the problem is you just see, or not just, but 90% you just see the successful stories. Like this millionaire was 19. I did 2 years of crypto, even if I had no idea. And then I got super rich. And now I'm doing and helping and investing in companies, blah, blah, blah. So you see these guys and they are existing. No question asked. There are people outside. They win the lottery, right? They win the big jackpot, or they had this one idea and just made it happen and sold the whole company for a few $1 million. So these stories are happening. And people are seeing this and this get like, you put this on a pedestal, like on there, this is the big God person. And then there are 100,000s of people, their success story is not working. No one sees that. No one knows that. And at the end of the day, it's also not, really, how do you say it? achievable. It's not achievable at the end of the day, because a lot of people suffering from, oh, I failed my business. So when I go in my lives, for example, people saying, oh, I failed my business twice or 3 times or 4 times. So I don't know if I'm made for that. And it's like, you had the power to start 4 times a business. So it 4 times didn't work out. So you should think about why. Was it the idea 4 times? That's odd. Probably it's something that your system is not working, or your ideas are not well thought, or you don't have the right people around you to help you, because your skill set is maybe have just crazy good ideas, but you can't execute. Mm-hmm. Find a person who's an executor, works with you. That's why we work so good together. I can talk, as you said, a lot. Everyone knows now as well. But like I'm very, very, very bad at executing. And you are so good at executing. And you don't want to talk the whole day.
Yeah.
So find a perfect fit and then blow it up, right? Like, but people don't do that in general.
Yeah, so, I mean, we're back at the team topic, right? So it's fundamental to find the right people that also, like balance you out. Whatever you can do, whatever you can't do, you should find people. Yeah.
For sure. I mean, on the other hand, it's like you shouldn't decide to do something what you can't, in my opinion. What you can't, what you are not meant to be. You will.
So that is tricky though, because what if like you're super talented at like piano, for example, and then you just don't want to do it, but then you like get told so many times by so many different piano teachers, whatever, that you're so talented and you can go really far, but it's just not vibing with you. What then? Right? And that happens a lot.
And this is basically...
So I don't think that you should just pursue whatever you're good in, because that's like the least pressure that you could get. I'm just going to go the way that's the easiest, even though it's not really the path that I want to take.
I mean, of course, if you hate where you are talented...
Hate is a strong word. I meant like, it doesn't necessarily need to be hate.
You don't like it, you shouldn't do it as well. It's clear, right? You should do what you love. And then,
so this is the number one.
That's the number one.
And then the second one, you say, is talented.
Automatically, I would say you love things more often when you're really good at it. So I don't love doing designs because I'm very bad in it. But I love design because I know how it looks like or how it should look. Or I love to watch it. I love to see it. Like,
I don't think though that no. I don't think that you don't do design because you can't. Like, I don't think that. It's just that you
never
don't.
Saw me drawing a picture. Maybe.
Honey. So I just think that it's just not your interest. I think it's just not what you want to do, and that's why you don't do it, not because...
No, I love design.
Yeah, you do, looking at it, but sometimes you have trouble like differentiating green from purple. Like that would just not work.
I'm completely not talented. Exactly, no. That's what I'm saying. I'm just...
You can train your eyes.
Yeah. No, I mean, yeah, it's like, I know where you're coming from. I think it's a that's a very good topic for our next episode.
I agree,
yeah,
yes.
So we could talk about like, what is a talent, and how do you identify a talent and a passion, and what
a skill set that you just
exactly, and how to connect these things. I think that would be super interesting for our next episode.
I totally agree.
Okay, so
that's a wrap for today.
That's a wrap for today. I think we tried our best for our first podcast, guys. So if you are out there and listen to this, follow our channel. Follow us, like this, get a notification. We try to make this once a week, and we would be really, really happy to see you guys on our channel, on our growth of this nice podcaster CEO couple, the diary of a CEO couple. The diary of a CEO couple.
And if you have any further, inspiration or input, something that you would love us to talk about, or questions, we can do Q&A maybe another time. Anything, we're ready, right?
Yes, we're ready. Put it in the comments, and we will take it up, guys. It was a pleasure. Thank you so much for doing this for me, because I asked you since ever to do this podcast for me. I really love that you came in and started it with me today. So I'm thrilled for the next episodes.
Me too.
Okay. We are out.